In this chapter, I'm going to explain how to work with third-party 3D models. That is, 3D models that are created in specialized 3D software that you can bring into Photoshop and then do all the things that you can do with models in Photoshop, including changing the colors, changing the textures, all that kind of stuff. I'll show you the models that we're including with the course. We have this horse that you might have seen before, a little fish here, these apples, these two carafes that I placed on this place setting, another apple, treasure chest, and even the space shuttle from NASA. Which begs the question, where do you find these things? Well, the first place to start is right here in the 3D menu. Go 3D, Get More Content. That takes you to this Adobe 3D site. Scroll down here a bit, you see Models and Meshes. And that shows the 4 companies that Adobe works with. The one we worked with for this course is TurboSquid. They have hundreds and hundreds of 3D models provided by artists that they represent. Let's take a look at some animals here. This gives you a sense of the price of these things. They are not inexpensive. With each one, you see what kind of file format they use. MA, FBX, OBJ, Cinema 4D, 3D Studio Max. Various kinds of file formats, some of which are compatible with Photoshop, some of which are not. I'll explain those in just a moment. Here's another place to go, the Trimble 3D Warehouse, which is powered by Google. You can find all kinds of free models here. This started as a place to put models, to put buildings inside Google Earth, and now it's kind of transformed into this place as a resource for 3D models. We picked up a few here for the course. And there are many other sources. You can certainly do an internet search and find all kinds of free 3D models. So what kind of 3D models will work with Photoshop? There are 6 file formats that you can open up inside Photoshop. 3ds is the original 3D Studio Max file format. It's no longer the current 3D Studio Max file format. That's now Max. Nevertheless, it's been around so long now that many 3D products now can export to 3ds. DAE came from Collada, but it too has been around for so long that it is now an open standard. KMZ is the keyhole markup language that was used for those buildings on Google. U3D, Universal 3D, was used by a lot of corporations for a time. Now it's the standard way to put 3D objects inside PDF files from Adobe. OBJ came from a company called Wavefront, but it is also an open standard now. And finally, FL3 is Adobe Flash 3D. You won't find very many FL3 files around. Now, just because Photoshop can work with each of these 6 different file formats does not mean that it can open up any kind of a file that has this file format. You're going to find that there are some issues when you open up some 3D models that you download, even from commercial sites. They really weren't built to run inside Photoshop, so sometimes they will not open in Photoshop, or when they do open, strange things happen. So in this chapter, I'm going to show you how to open up 3D files inside Photoshop, how to place them in a scene, and then how to deal with the inevitable problems that will happen with some 3D files that you bring into Photoshop.